Hello, 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 everybody. We are going to get all right. Good to see everybody. All right, we're going to see how this goes this evening. As many of you all can see, I am in a different location, so hopefully we can get the everything working. That's always a it's always a plus. So that's the plan. We're going to try to get all these areas working and seeing if everything can be funneled accordingly. So thanks for hopping in there early. If you are here right away, so just excited about your presence. So let's just give folks a few minutes and let them just kind of hop in here, and we'll see how we go. We're gonna put this in the group. So if you're joining me live on Facebook in our Facebook group or on Instagram, I have folks I see here um, multiple places. So YouTube as well. So we're going to just get ready to get started this evening, and we're going to be talking a little bit today about the why behind from a parent perspective, and I your conversation often about what is the reason behind you participating and what it is that you do. So uh, we're going to talk if we lose connection. I might have to get extra fancy here. I think make it happen. This should be perfect. All right. So yep, just I know there's a little bit of a slack on the Wi-Fi there, but what I ended up doing is just changing things over. Technology at its best. So hopefully you're still in there, and folks are there. If I see you on Instagram, it's good to see you guys. Uh, you are on that the face copy of this. The recording will be to out of the Facebook group, and obviously if you're on the side of our Facebook group, folks to come mental skills that are necessary for your junior golfer will continue to be if by any chance the best, then thing. Respect. We should be. I want to knowing what okay. I think we are back back in it. Perfect. Okay, here it is. All right, here we go. Here we go. So thank you guys for hanging in there. Uh, Um, I think it was, but we're in there nonetheless. So again, um, and if by chance the feed continues to go or lag, let me know, and I will make sure that I'll probably end up doing two things: make another recording and put that in the Facebook group. Again, that's the joy of being in there. And then for my Instagram live folks, sorry about that. So we'll make it all happen. So hopefully, I could be anywhere with any of them. They literally sport, in addition to many other things that they have on their plate. So we are absolutely playing zone defense or offense, however you look at it. So I really want to just dig into this, the why. So again, when we're talking about this and when we're thinking about this from a parent space, I asked the parents what is the why behind their push for them to be successful or do well, because I think that's super important. And so tonight, you're going to actually listen or hear from me, how I think through this. You're going to hear a little bit of my own personal story, in addition to, if you will, why or how I am, pushing my kids in some aspects too. So just so you guys are tracking, and seeing this as well. So again, I played college sport, a long time ago now. I won't disclose necessarily all the way my age, but what happened was I played, in high school. I played sport, played three sports in high school, and I really enjoy sport. I think sport is just a great place for kids to learn how to be part of a team. Even if you do an individual sport, to still you're still part of a team, and so because of that, it makes sense that you understand, how to just kind of walk through and work through. I think sport gives a really good picture of how life is. It's not always fair. Sometimes you need a judge, sometimes you need a referee, sometimes you need an official, sometimes you just need bad breaks or the momentum to change. Lots of things go on. And I think through sport, growing up in sport, you start to learn some of those things in life. So that is actually one of the reasons why I enjoy my children specifically playing sport. As they progress, we do have, the word would be rose colored glasses for our children. Many of us think that they're better than they are. And actually, many of us, as far some of us, I'm very, uh, I might be at the other side of this. We might not necessarily, because of our own experience, actually think our kids are as good as actually they may be. And so, because you also, if you played sport, especially if you played professional or college sport, you do understand, like, at every level, how challenging it is and how small the numbers are at every level. Even in elite golf, right? You go there at every level. It's just smaller and smaller with regards to the skills and the goodness that actually has to happen in order for someone to consider making it. So oftentimes when I'm talking to a parent specifically, who has a kid in high school or even in middle school or junior high, depending on what part of the country you live in, then what you'll start to see is this. You'll start hearing, well, I would love for them to be able to go and play their sport in college. That's the one of the reasons why they are excited about their kid progressing and moving forward. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're looking for their kid to get a scholarship, but it does mean that they're pushing for their kid to be able to go play potentially their sport in college. And we can have a whole another conversation, which we will have potentially with a guest for next week, about some of that college, some of that recruiting thing, and we'll delve into that some too. But for the most part, is that for golf specific, but most every sport, we look at different divisions of those sports. You have a Division 1 school or a Division 2 school or a Division 3 school, NAIA, or maybe a junior college. So there's options for kids, and so sport in and of itself can get someone another opportunity to further their education. And sometimes, for those of us who are even more fortunate, you get monies to play your sport, and hopefully academically to play your sport and do school, so that it would be at a reduced cost for the family. So again, with having four kids, I'm very well aware that, if all four of them decided to just go to college, me pay for college, whether it's $30,000 a year, 50,000, 100, 12, um, whatever that would look like, it would be extremely expensive. So I personally and our family personally will benefit from our children, starting off with our daughter being able to go to college, have a reduced fee to play sport in college, because that is very helpful, obviously, and academically. she will be able to gain additional monies to also play her particular sport. If you haven't heard these terms, then you'll begin to hear them. But golf is one of many sports that is not fully funded, meaning that you do not every golfer on the team or every volleyball player on the team does not get a full ride athletically to play that sport. Each sport has a number of scholarships available to the team collectively, and so they'll split those things up accordingly. And if you have questions about that, you can throw them in the chat, or you can just send me a personal message, and we can dig into those details too. But really important. And I'm going to be able to share my screen here with you all in a moment, because I really want you to see a form here that I like to use to help people really begin this process of figuring out what your own personal philosophy is for yourself. It's just for you as a parent specifically. And I use this same form with my athletes as well, because I want to know the things or the people that have inspired them. What are those characteristics of those people? Why they have been inspired by those folks? Because I think that's super important. And then we start delving in here and using a little bit more of finding words that are actually unique or specific to that person or persons collective. And so we start to see, how do we start creating that personal philosophy, or the why behind what you believe success looks like, what your personal philosophy is, mostly around success. There are people who inspire you to do the things that you do. And so, because of that, we're able to really start looking at it and understanding it from this end. And so, what I'm able to do and what I really enjoy doing is being able to help a parent, help an athlete really start looking at what is their philosophy around what success looks like. So, specifically for a parent, one thing that we recognize is that whatever that is for you, we give that to our kids too. And our kids themselves come up with their own thing. So, I really like to have parents do this on their own, the kids do this on their own. I like to compare those things with them, obviously, in having conversations about what the why is for them specifically. And then they'll begin to have these conversations around things that are extremely important. So the reason that knowing your why, the reason why I'm pushing my kid, the reason why I'm supporting my kid, the reason why I'm financially trying to, navigate this particular sport for them to be able to play at the next level, which many of us, it would be college, and then beyond college, professionally sometimes, when those athletes are able to do that. So what we know is that there are going to be many, many, many moments where the sport in and of itself is not enjoyable. And when it's not enjoyable, we need to be able to lean on the things that motivate us to continue to push through. That's when knowing your why, or your personal philosophy around your work ethic and how you see things and how you manage really comes into play. And as a mental performance coach, what I really enjoy is being able to have parents and their athletes join together so that they can start to see, learn, and understand how this looks, what this sounds like. Especially this helps with those conversations that we have in the car before an event, after an event, because now you guys can be able to communicate on the same page about the same thing, so that way people begin to understand, we're not out there just trying to get a result all the time. There is a process involved. That process includes your personal philosophy, or the things, the whys behind the things that you do. And once you learn this, and once you know this for yourself, this is huge for you. And it's huge as a parent, specifically working with your athlete. And it's important for me as a mental performance coach, working with your athlete, so that they begin to truly understand the reasons why they do the things that they do. Once we lock into those things, it's very easy for them and for me to be able to help them, be able to bounce back from setbacks, work through injuries, some illnesses, things of the sort, or really be able to kind of grow when things kind of look like I might have plateaued. And so it's super important, especially for athletes that I'm working with that are battling an injury, coming back from an injury, or even in my own situation right now. My daughter is sick, hasn't been feeling amazing, hence partly why we're here. And so that way, you miss time, you miss practice or training, or whatever it is that you're missing. And so then you have to have the, wherewithal to come back and work a little harder sometimes to get back to where you may have left the sport at. And so there's some very intriguing things into this, but to really begin to understand and have that dialogue with a parent specifically, and obviously a child, about the reasons why they are doing what it is that they do. Why is it that you're thinking, I would like to go play college sport? Is there some lore to that? Is it because what we see on TV? Do we understand actually what is behind all of those things? And helping a family be able to understand those two things as well, specifically if they have not had the experience as a collegiate athlete themselves. Fortunately, I've had that, and I've obviously worked with players who are playing now collegiately, going off to college here shortly, which is a really cool thing. And then obviously working with athletes that have progressed from collegiate levels off to your professional or highly amateur ranks as well. So understanding this is so important. I had to, as just as a part of, I shared with you guys earlier, you'll hear a little bit about my space, my story, but also the folks that I work with. Again, just to, I was very fortunate to work with our USA shooting team that went to the Olympics, and there are others that did not make it. But for those that did, to have this conversation around the why behind what it is that they do. They did not place in a medal in a medal, but there are still reasons why they do what they do, and be able to tap into that so that way they can continue to stay motivated. I mean, how do you stay motivated for the next quote unquote 4 years of your life, dedicating that time to an event or to a sport where you may or may not qualify or may not even make the team again? And so, going back to these personal philosophies for individuals and for families is so very, very vital and very important. So, hopefully, you had a opportunity. You might have took a phone screenshot or did something, but I would love to sit down with you individually and be able to work through some of those things with you. That way you can really understand the depths of that. So, again, for those of you who are out there on Instagram, great to have you guys out there listening. Hopefully, it seems like the feed is much better. And if you are on Instagram for the first time, checking me out, if you want to get into my Facebook group, in my profile, my bio is the link to do so. You can hop in there, and I will have resources and things available for folks. I may even put that personal philosophy in there for some folks to be able to take a look at, or at least a link for them to be able to reach out and get access to something like that too. So these are things that I really enjoy doing when I'm working with an individual, because now we start to really develop the mental makeup that's necessary for them to have the mindset of a champion. Oftentimes I'm watching online as well. I'm looking at other folks in this same space, and I'm a math and science person. I went to school for this, and so there's a lot of information that's out there. But to be able to put it all together and layer it appropriately for your athlete when they need it most is really going to help them. And again, I love sharing this with folks because I think it's so important. When we're talking about the mental game, we're not necessarily talking about just the results getting better. We actually want the pathway to those results to be better, the process or the progress that we are making for the results to be better. Because it's kind of like understanding how we operate as people. Just because you have it all, or you have the win or the result, does not mean that the process you enjoyed or that the process you learned from. And so I think if you're able to duplicate results when you understand and have the right process, or the right process to make those things happen. So if you understand that and you begin to do it in a manner that allows you the opportunity for your successes, you really start to understand, like, man, this is not only enjoyable, but it allows me an opportunity to replicate those successes over and over again. So that way we're not left with this one performance today, and next time we're down here, and then we're up here again, and then we're down there again. And so we're looking to try to get this, I call it just consistent greatness, to be able to happen around your performances. And so part of that is understanding that the result is not really going to be the thing that we're looking at to define what that consistent greatness looks like. At any given day, you can win, you can lose. So one of the keys is to understand, well, what is it that it takes for me to be consistently great at what I do? And the only way you can do that is through the process or the progress that we're making towards said goals. So That's so important, and I think people sometimes miss that when they're just solely focused on the result. Because if you're just solely focused on the result, you will absolutely miss or not be as consistently great in your particular events or sports that you do, and that's not actually not exactly fun. So we want to be able to produce that, and that's what I do with the mindset of a champion. Is really we're starting to create habits accordingly, mental habits specifically, so that way you're able to really not only just excel consistently, but also excel not only in golf specific or football or basketball or track and field or shooting. So this is an opportunity for you to really begin to hone that mindset in, so that way when things come, it's not an if, it's a win. When they show up, you'll be mentally prepared for them, and you'll be able to continue to have consistent greatness with your performances. So that being said, I like to be mindful of folks' time. I'm available here on the feed for a little while longer. If you have questions you could throw in, I'll be more than glad to take those questions, um, and and be able to help someone. So I have folks here on Instagram. If you have any comments in there, you can throw there. I have folks here on YouTube as well. Um, Wherever there's a question asked, I will typically just type it in as well. All right. Couple additions to that feed. All right. All right. Well, since I don't have anything out there, any questions, I appreciate you guys hopping in. It's always good to see folks. And so, with that, again, the recording of this feed will be inside the Facebook group, and so we will. I will post that there. And if you were on any other platform and you need to hop in that group, you will be able to see the link directly in the bio for me. So again, I appreciate you guys hopping in there. Argyle, good to see you, young fella. Um, Hopefully all is well. We're still get ready to go off to school. We need to connect again, of course. One of those D1 golfers we're talking about right there. So good to see him hop in. Um, Excited about his future. It's going to be amazing. So again, if you have any questions, let me know. You can hop in the Facebook group as well. I appreciate you guys' time. Again, let's make sure we understand what that personal philosophy is. And if you need anything, you can always send me an email or find me in the group, and make sure that you just send me a direct message there as well. So, well, again, I look forward to talking to you guys and spending a little bit of time here. and sharing what it is that we do best. Talk to you guys later. Have a good evening.